to, somebody, says, oh, let's get back on Jordan. Let's get another case. Let's do something like this. And, because if it does, I mean, it's gonna go to a whole new level, and I was burned out after that whole long process. I'm sure everybody else was, and didn't, carry it to the next step, but I had all the paperwork there and, to deal with the fair housing, laws, and there's a lot of people who, offered their support because of the, kind of global nature of this, and I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. I was just too tired, and now I have one choice: live there as it's a single family residence, live there as a family, and that's what we're doing, and we're not doing anything else. And I don't think anything that we've talked about here today should give anybody the impression that we're doing anything differently than that. I mean, that, my parents were living here in town, and, would it be a senior care facility, in Pleasant Hill? I mean, these definitions and trying to pigeonhole people and trying to, direct all this attention, this particular property and me, I find it offensive, and I just don't think it's the right thing. And I just don't want to get my back pushed up against the wall where I have no choice on what to do. So, just trying to get along and live in peace and harmony. I think that's what we're doing.
If it were to help, resolve the issue of the use of the building, would it be okay for us to come over there sometime and take a look?
How would that help?
Just if there were any questions about the layout of the house, or
The layout hasn't changed a bit.
there are common areas that people share, and it's not. Because one of the issues is, that there would need to be common living areas and dining areas, and those, you can't create separate dwelling units within the building.
Right, and we don't.
So that,
We don't.
that
We
would
have.
be one thing that we could, check off the list.
Well, I just don't think it has to go that far. Again, that's why I think, there's no reason for the city, for anybody to believe that anything is happening other than what I said is happening. If I were running a treatment facility there, I'd have to have a license. If I had 1 million people there, we would be making, there'd be parking issues, there'd be littering issues, there'd be all
the
this
residents have
noise
their
and
own
stuff.
cars, or some of them do, some don't.
Some do, some don't.
Is there any prohibition on that, or?
No motorcycles. Too noisy. But other than that, and again, I mean, we want to have adequate parking there. So if again, all these things come into play. Personalities, how it's going, and so forth. Just like again, any other family does.
Do you have any,
So.
are you using any off-site areas, like, was that church that was gonna be church?
No, there's no need to. There's no need to. It's people just come there, live, go home. We don't have, outside meetings. We don't have, people coming in to do any kind of treatment or anything like that. So it's just like a normal family. And I'm sure there's plenty of their homes and places in the city of Pleasant Hill where there's more cars per, square footage, more cars parked, and on the in the front, all over the place, more people in more dense areas. This is like one of the least dense, populated places in the city. There's way more, and I don't think that there should be no restriction on that, unless it's causing problems, and it is not. So, I just.
Have there been any occasions where there's been a need for police services at all?
No. Not at all, and not anticipating any. Yeah.
Okay, Troy, anything else that you think of that you want to clarify?
I think we covered everything that we wanted to cover, so I don't have anything.
So, does the city council know about this?
Honestly, I don't know. I know the city manager and city attorney are aware, and they're the ones that report to the council, so.
I just hope it, you know, you can communicate that, you know, you know, you're trying to protect the anonymity of the neighbor who has made these allegations. I think I have rights to privacy. I think I have rights to anonymity. I don't want anything in the newspaper about it or the address on the city update that they give. I don't want my address up there. Oh, yeah, because again, it's just gonna bring attention to the property. And the perception is that, you know, if you're accused of something, the perception is you're guilty until proven innocent. Instead, you know, you should be innocent until proven guilty. And that's what is, you know, a little bit irritating that, you know, you guys are going to this extreme when right next door to me, I've got a guy who has a home business doing it specifically against the city ordinances for auto repair. Right in back of me, I specifically have, you know, a large daycare place, and then both of these really loud people in the, at these meetings pointing the finger, but then what happens to theirs? It's just, oh, that's, we don't care about that. And then again, you know, this big safety issue about jaywalking. Well, Jack Weir should drive his car down Pleasant View Road in the morning and the afternoon and make sure he doesn't hit any kids. It's a highly dense area. There's kids riding their bikes to school. There's moms with their kids out there in strollers. And I would bet that you cannot park, you know, on the street, staying on the street. I bet there's not clearance for 3 cars there. And let alone, there's parking on both sides, and it's a two-way street. It should be a one-way street, or just parking should be prohibited. There's other issues in this city that they need, I think, that need addressing besides, you know, my deal. I've complied with the cities. You know, I went through all that. I spent all that money, all that time, all that energy. You know, got, you know, 57 crazy, unreasonable, discriminatory conditions of approval to put, you know, something that every community needs. And again, because of bigots, biased people, ignorant, and just plain mean, trying to prohibit this from happening. And, you know, it wasn't good enough that they, you know, wanted me to do all these crazy things, try to, you know, allow it to be a treatment center there where you look at these treatment centers, I don't see anything in the paper about any of this bad stuff happening. You know, that all this fear-based stuff, it never would have happened, didn't happen, doesn't happen. But, you know, again, not only did they not just leave it there, then they go out and spend a whole year, more time, more money, more resources for one property. It was clear that that was the case. It was just so crystal clear. And again, it didn't go unnoticed. And I'm glad those were public comments that they made, because it made it quite clear what the agenda is. So I feel like, you know, I've done my part. I'm doing my part, trying to be a good citizen, just trying to do the right thing. You know, that's all. And again, I just feel like my hands are tied. So, single-family residents, we're single-family, that's what we're doing. You know, if they have a problem with me, then I'd like to see them go around the whole rest of the city and do the same thing, you know. And if there's 4 cars parked out there, hey, why? How many people are living here? Who are they? What's the deal? I just feel like, again, it's all directed at me, and when is it gonna end? Again, if the police were showing up, if there were problems, overflow, parking, complaints, noise, or, you know, even just people parking on the street, which is legal. Nobody does that. We are really sensitive to what this town is all about, and we're just trying to get along. So unless those things happen, I see no basis for pursuing this or for, you know, bothering me or anybody else about it.
Okay, well, I know, you know, you had to get back.
Yeah, I gotta get back to it.
you, but
Yeah.
let us kind of sort through all of this, and we'll talk to the attorney, and if there are any follow-up issues or questions, we'll probably get back to you shortly.
Okay. So who's the attorney?
It's a law firm that has a contract temporarily until the city goes through a new selection process, so it's Janet Colson with Richards, Watson, Gershon.
Is she the woman who is the kind of consultant attorney during the that whole ordinance phase?
No,
That was somebody else.
no, it was a gentleman, Peter Pierce, he was the consulting attorney. Oh, you're maybe talking about
No.
Judy Robin.
There, you know, after my thing, there was,
Gray hair?
yeah.
Yeah, that's Judy. She's just an individual attorney that has done work for different cities in the area. She's not with a firm, I guess.
I see. Poor Deb. I hope I didn't have anything with her getting run out of town, although I feel really